Password accepted.
Does that make sense? I'll be like, I just don't want to live the rest of my life talking about I played on this obscure team. This like I was this massive fish in this little mud puddle deal. I would rather be a minnow, you with me, and part of something that wins. I really would. I can't help it. We've got two kids on our college teams that we pull for, and the kids decided that they're not getting enough playing time, so they're going to opt to go down to the little leagues so that they get more playing time. And I'm not going to try to think like they think, but I'm just going to tell you, we like people like us, and people like us like to win. And we like to compete. Because see, if I was them, I stay on the team and say, first of all, I think I can beat them. Does that make sense? I think I can beat them. And then if they in a fair fight or in a fair competition beat me out, I'm still on a championship team. Because somebody beat me out, they must be bad to the bone. Does that make sense? So I don't understand that. And I'm not seeking to understand that. But I'm telling you this so you can decide if this is a team you want to play on. Now, what I'm telling you with the Alliance, we have a lot of slots available, a lot of scholarships available, a lot of slots available so that you can become an integral playing time person with us. So we want to talk to you about putting you in. And we want to talk to you about being an impact player on this team. That's the game plan. All right? So let's get rocking with it. I just did a tour where we went up to Northern Virginia, right down in D.C., the D.C. area, which is extreme Northern Virginia, and we had so many fanatical warriors there. It was just fun meeting those people. Then we popped up to Detroit. where it's just blowing up like crazy. We had 40 guests in Detroit. Then we popped over to Chicago the very next morning and were just crazy all-time winners there. And then we went to Cincinnati where we had 29 guests in the house. So the 2-night meetings, 40 guests and 29 guests in the hot spots. That's what we're talking about right there. This kind of stuff was happening all around the country. And some things that I learned on while I was there, I want to get this out to you, okay? So I've got my game plan, what I said I was going to cover with you about clearing your mind so that you can fill your calendar. I want to get to that, but I want to get a couple of these things out in the open to everybody out there who can see this broadcast live, and so we can kick off this Instant Thunder. So, who in here is consistently selling over 10,000 issue paid a month? Okay, raise your hand up. And then now, I know that there's a lot of new people here. We don't have a long experience here. And then the ladies, and I see we're adding 2 more. So I'm going to ask you ladies if y'all would come up here that are selling consistently over 10,000 a month. Michelle, come up. Jasmine, come up. And Olga. So this kind of I think it messed some people up. I know it messed me up. I was like, oh my God. All right. So the first thing that we talked about was understanding a real simple mathematical equation on making money. Okay. So if you would push down just a little bit so I can have the screen. The way we do it, you start the example by selling, and then what you do is you find people that are interested in the fact that we have leads and that we're hiring and they can make money. And we're interested in who would willing to help us. So we find people that want to help us. And it's amazing what we're finding is that some people started listening to me about 90 days. Actually, one guy started about 120 days ago doing this. He's calling every single person he knows and saying, hello, in this case it would be, hello, Andrew. I hadn't seen you in 17 years, but we were in high school together. How have you been? And he's getting stories like, oh my God, it's been 17 years. I can't believe you called me. I've been doing great. How are you? And this guy's name is Scott that's doing it. And so Scott's response, Michelle, is this. I'm doing fantastic, Andrew. The reason for the call. Business. Business. Get right up there. Business. No peddling. Business. Okay? It's crazy. It's working. Because, okay, now listen to the things he's getting. He's getting things like, Bo, we done got a divorce. I done got married again. We got triplets. And let me tell you the response that Scott's hitting them with. He said, well, that's awesome. The reason for the call, Andrew. You with me? The reason for the call. And then he hits them with we got a bunch of leads with our insurance company. We're looking for some help. Didn't know if you might be able to help us. Didn't know if you might be able to help us or not. And here's what he's getting. Occasionally, he's getting, we've been praying for something. How about that? I didn't say once in a blue moon. I'm saying occasionally. Occasionally he's getting it. So he's just sitting there and he's getting that. We've been looking for something. My company's laying off. They went right from the triplets to the fact that his company is cutting back. Does that make sense? Just their mind changes like that. That gets off of updating them on their entire life, and they get down to business, and they say, as a matter of fact, I'm interested in helping. Does that make sense? It almost don't make sense to me. Except for, I've been reading about this all my life. That you cannot knock on 65 doors or talk to 65 people and say something like, you wouldn't want no life insurance, would you? And I've been reading for years that it's impossible. Somebody will say, we've been praying about getting some life insurance, get some more coverage. So I'm thinking a transition from you wouldn't want no life insurance, would you, to the transition of we need some help and we got leads. I'm thinking how many people, the odds of people that would like to make some extra money versus the people that want to buy life insurance has got to be better. Got to be better. So it's not shocking in that way, but it still blows my mind that people say that. Okay, so what we show is you find people that are interested. Then they must qualify, right? How do they do that? You get them in class. You got to put in $49, right? So then what you do is you put people in class, you put people in class, you put people in class, you put people in class. You're just putting people in class in Texas and New York and California and Washington State. It's just people all over the place, and they're all connected to you. And then you're being real nice to them, and you're putting them in class. We got this $49 deal that when they put 3 people in class, they get the $49 back. So what we're seeing is people are putting people in class faster because this $49 you get all your money back to set people in class. So it's starting to happen, right? Like it's starting to take off. Everybody's getting it, right? So then what we do is we find somebody out of these people, and a lot of what you can do is you can look for bright spots. You can look for bright spots. And what you want to do is teach them how to sell. Does that make sense? This is not a complicated deal, okay? But people are finally starting to get it. And so what we need to do is perpetuate. We need to keep throwing the gas on this fire, right? All right, so what happens is you're starting to tell these people. Now, what we found talking to people in this last 48 hours is that when you make more phone calls, like if you will schedule some time and make more phone calls, you will get more appointments. And then when you go on more appointments, those people are getting more sales. Hold on. We have also found that the people that go on sales, either they pick up a check, y'all with me? Or they pick up a phone. You with me? All right, so I got these ladies up here going to mess you up. Okay? Now, I got a young man here that I think he's old enough to chew cornbread and not get choked. Eric, come up here, Bo. Y'all give Eric a hand.
That's right.
Okay.
All right.
You fired up, dude?
I'm fired up, man. Are you guys fired up? Yes. My name is Eric Benavides. I'm part of the trail sales team and Paul Minikino's team.
Yes.
My hotspot is in Winchester, Virginia.
That's right.
Yep.
How long you known us? When did you meet Trey? How long?
Oh my God, probably like less than 2-3 weeks.
Less than 2 or 3 weeks?
Yes.
2 or 3 weeks ago?
Yes.
You're not sure exactly?
I'm not sure. It's all going so fast.
Okay. So he puts the $49 in class, right?
Yes.
And how long did it take you to complete and get your license and the whole concept?
It took me 3 days to get through the class. The next day I passed the test, and then like within a week later I already had my license.
Now, the first thing you got to look at is when you're talking to these people, are they over 18 years old? Are you over 18 years
Yes,
old?
I am. Yes, I am.
Are you much over 18?
Not much. But
How much over 18 are you?
I turned 18 in January.
February, March, April, May. So you're 4 months to the good.
Yep.
That's good. That's good right there. Okay. So you hear he didn't know how 3, 4 weeks, he don't know how long he's been involved. Well, he's done got figured out how long it took him to take the test. Because the last time I asked him, he said 4 days. And now he's saying 3.
One day I skipped. I didn't do anything one of those days. So that's why it's 3 days.
So it took him 4 days, but he took a break.
Yep.
And then, have you made some sales?
Yeah, I made my first sale on Saturday.
Made your first sale on Saturday. Have you made 1, 2?
Just one.
Made 1.
Yep.
Okay. And in the house, did you just wipe them out, or do you have to pick up the phone?
I had to pick up the phone. I had no idea what I was doing, so I was like, I need to call up my senior field underwriter. I ended up calling Paul, and he helped me out. Yep.
Senior field underwriter. SFU, baby. It's a senior field writer right there. Senior field underwriter right there. How many times did you have to call him?
I just had to call him once. He answered right away.
He answered right away.
Yep.
Did you have to call him back, or he took care of the problem?
Yeah, I had to call him back, and then we kept going through it, and we fixed it.
You had to call him back twice?
Yep.
What did the people in the house say?
They didn't say anything about it. They were all right.
They were okay?
Yeah.
Did they ask you, was you old enough to do this?
No, sometimes I go to people's homes and I ask them how old I am. They're like, are you 15, 16? I'm like, yeah, I'm 18.
Yeah.
They trusted me because they gave me the check, so they trusted me. That's right, yeah? Woo!
We have also found that people that move faster and quicker get there sooner. So what we're doing is, when we're hiring all these, the way we're looking for bright spots is movement. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Movement in 2 ways. Selling and recruiting. Selling so they got some money, and recruiting so they got overrides and a life. Security. Both of them. Y'all tracking on this stuff right here? Okay. So he's a great example. So tough decision to come down here and be a part of this, or did you just say, all right, let's go?
I wanted to go. Trey told me about it. I was like, I'm in.
I'm in.
Yep.
Bro, I'm so excited about you. Give that mic back to her, shake my hands, and grab a seat back. All right. All right, so this is what we got to talking about, and we could line up 27 people, but these ladies, it's a contrast here, and we've added to that. I think we'll learn something from there too, with Michelle and Jasmine, because they weren't with us, but Olga and Angela were. So here's the mathematical thing. I'm going to go through it real fast, but all the agency managers and all you key leaders, get your mind on this so that you can review this with people, because I'm not going to take a lot of time on it, but you can review it with them and make sure they understand this concept later. But maybe some of them, the smarter ones, are going to pick up on it. And I know we've got some new, smarter people we've been hiring lately that are picking up on this quicker. All right, here's the way the program works. You buy $100 worth of leads, you're going to get a certain amount of sales, because you've got maybe 2 new leads, maybe 2 kind of old, 2 real old, and 7 or 8 just way old leads. So each one of these are shots. These are shots that you can take. So almost everybody is getting 1 or 2 sales because of the big number of leads. People that spend 0 leads are tending to get 0 appointments. Okay, now, we do have some that sell 1 to theirself. And that's solid for the first week. It just creates a problem on the second week. Does that make sense? So can they sell to relatives? Well, some can, and that's okay. We want you to do that. It's okay if you, but what we found is these people almost get 1 to 2 sales, period, in a week at least, sometimes 3. And the interesting thing is how when people get more talented and study more, this number goes up. Now, here's the math on it real quick. If you do $100 worth of leads, you're getting 1 to 2 sales, which is like $1,000 in premium. On a 55% commission, that's $550, and then you got $100 minus $100 for your leads, you're netting $450. And I want somebody with a calculator ready because I'm getting ready to knock out some other numbers. I'm going to need some help, and I don't want to piddle with it. Okay, so $450 a week putting in 100. Now, a lot of old-timers and a lot of poor people, broke people, television shows will tell you how to save your way to wealth. When I have talked to rich people like John Maxwell, Nito Quabain, John Gordon, people that make money, they say that you invest money in your own head and in your own business and people around you, and you make more money. They say that's what they say. So I've picked to go with the wealthier people to copy. Okay? And we're finding people like us. We're finding the people like us and people like us. Okay? So here's what we found out. That if you will come over here and to contrast, put in $500 worth of leads, what we're finding is you get 2, 3, 4, 5 of the first quality, brand new, fresh. Then you get 6, 7, 8, 9, whatever, of the kind of older leads, and then a bunch of shots with the cheaper leads. And we're finding out that these people roughly get this is algebra, and I know some of you didn't advance well on the mathematics. I'm not good at a lot of things. I will tell people. But when it comes to adding, subtracting, dividing, multiplying, division, and I have a calculator, I did say, and I have a calculator, I will mess you up. You got me? Calculators ready? All right, here we go. 500. So for each 100, you get 1,000. So there's 5 100s. So 5 100s, that's 5 1,000s. So that is 5,000 in sales. You say, but you got more expenses. That's because you're quick-witted. So at 55% commission, that we're getting that from the lowest level on the commission chart. I know we have higher levels. You can practice on this with an agency manager commission level and see if it holds, if the theorem holds true. But I know it do. Okay? All right. What's 55% of $2,750? And you got 500 in lead cost, so you minus 500, so you're making $2,250. $50. Is that right? Yeah. Yep. Which one you want to make a week? 2,250 or 450? 2,000. Does that make sense? So lead purchases turn into something to dial, and to dial ends up in appointments. And I know it's like it's like long-term thinking for some of you, I know. But it's really 1 week. It's 1 week turnaround. Does that make sense? Okay. So we got up all these people, including Eric Belair, okay? As a matter of fact, I'm probably going to get Eric up here. Is anybody else, any of you guys, Eric, come on up here. Eric Belair, come up here. Any of you guys... guys that were over 10,000 a month issue paid, stand up. Who we got in here? Okay, over 10,000 a month. All right. Okay. All right. All right. I got you in mind. Y'all grab a seat so I know who I'm dealing with. All right. Okay. So what we did is we said, all right, is some people, if you're writing over 10,000 a week, is each one of you that are over 10,000 a week, stand back up real quick, stand back up, they're over 10,000 a week, or a month, 10,000 a month. The question is, how much how much are you paying for leads a week? Joe, personally, yell it out. 550 to 600. And what kind of premium do you write a month? Between 18,000 to 20,000. Okay? So let's just say, I'm gonna keep this, I'm gonna quit complicating it, and I'm gonna say, give me your average, don't give me a range. 550. Okay? 550 a week you're paying for leads, and you're getting 18,000 in premium. Does that make sense? If you go back and look at this formula, you would think that he's going to get 20,000. That means he's not quite getting 1,000 issue paid per $100. Does that make sense? Okay. Y'all come up here real quick. Run. Get up here. Y'all come up here. All right, because I'll have to hit these numbers real quick. Okay. So the question is, if he did only $100 a week in leads, how many sales would he be getting? Can y'all do the math real quick? Huh? And instead of 1,000, which we expect, his is going to be less. He would probably only be getting about 800 a week. And then you multiply that times 4 weeks, he would be getting about 3,200. You understand the problem here? Like, some people don't understand. The key to his success is he buys leads. Now, does this make sense to y'all? Yeah. Okay. Now, people say, but if he bought all those leads and he didn't dial them, he wouldn't have got the results. I don't think people have a problem with that logic. I think they do have a problem with this logic. $100 versus $500. But I don't think I think, in other words, I think if they buy $250 worth of leads, they're going to dial them. Right? But I don't think they get that if you buy $50 worth of leads, and then by the way, this is not in a month, this is in a week buying leads. Does that make sense? So they're buying a bunch of leads so they can sell. So real quick, come here, Paul. What are your, I want you to do his numbers. Can you write them up there? Just numbers, how much you paying for leads a week?
450 a week, and I write 20,000 a month.
450 a week and 20,000. Real quick. Go back to the end of the line.
Eric Belair, 300 a week, about 30,000 a month.
Okay. All right.
Andrew Argenio, we do 350 a week and 11,000.
All right.
Justin Balick, 350, 17,000.
350 a week, 17,000.
Junior Korea, $200, 15,000.
Okay.
Marcus Richardson, 500 a week, 15,000.
Okay.
Terry Edwards, 350 a week, 15,000.
What'd you say yours was, Marcus? 500 a week, 15,000.
350 a week, 15,000.
350 a week, 15,000.
Mark Hutchison, 350 a week, 20,000.
Do it again.
Joe Dukes, 18,000 and 450 a week, or 550 a week.
550 a week and 18,000. Okay. All right. Justin, get back on your calculator, boss. All right. Watch this. You say, well, I bet how much money are they making? Okay, so this is his expenses per week. So that's going to be 300. That's going to be 1,200. Okay. All right, now keep in mind, if he's issue paying 30,000, you go over to the level chart and he's going to get promoted every 2 months. So promotions are good. Everybody agree? So with promotions, he's going to go all the way up to 95%. You say, but at 95%, his lead costs are higher. Dude, he spends $300 a week. It's not going to change. Whatever he spends is what he spends. Does that make sense? I thought it went up with a higher commission. It's how much he spends. That's what it is. So if you do 30,000 times 95%, what's that? 30,000 times 95. So you get right here, 30,000 times 95%. 35 times 95%, 30,000. $28,500. And then he has $1,200 in leads, so it's minus $1,200. He is going to make Take a zero out. Right. He is going to make $1,200 in cost, so he is going to make $27,300 that month after you take out his $1,200 lead bill. You understand what I'm telling y'all? This is massive. His net profit is better, but if he dropped it to only $100, even the best salesman up here, percentage-wise, his income is going to go down from $27,000 down to $8,000 a month. Now, come here, let me show you the problem. Could you pay your bills on $8,000 a month? Could you supply and keep up with your lifestyle?
Never.
See the problem? You say, but my lifestyle's low. I thought you wanted your lifestyle to go up. Okay, so Justin, get back on pen. Okay? All right, here we go. Now watch this. I'm going to get rid of his, and let's pick another one. Let's pick one that's not as good. How about this one? $500 and $15,000. Who was that? Who was $515,000? Marcus. Okay, Marcus, come here. Now see, here's what you want to do. The first thing you want to do is invest. Next thing you want to do is take action. Next thing you want to do is improve your skill set. Okay? A lot of people want to improve their skill set before they invest or before they take action. That's twisted up. You got to figure out if you're any good or not, and you got to get out there and find out. So the math on this, and let's just do him at, he has earned his way up to 90%. So 90% of 15,000
Is 13,500.
13,500 minus 2,000. So he's making $11,500 a month. If you take his 500 down to 100, you're going to drop it it's going to drop to 20% of that. So in a month, he goes from making $11,000 to $2,200 a month based on his investment. Now, skill set wise, if he could get his skill set to what this is, 300 gets you 30,000. If he did his skill set, notice this right here is about 30% higher than that. Now his skill set would go from 15,000 at least to 30,000. No, because he's putting in 500, his would go to about $35,000 if he could increase his skill set for what he's willing to do. See, in other words, he's putting 500 in, but his skill set's not as good, but he's still making $11,500. But if he started with only $100, he couldn't get over $2,200 with his skill set. So with your worst skill set people, they should put more in. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
This is what we found out traveling around. We were playing around with this. Okay, so let's do these girls' numbers. Okay, Justin. All right, what's your numbers?
300 a week, 18,000.
300 a week, 18,000.
$500 a week, 20,000.
Michelle?
$450 a week, 33,000.
About 500 a week, about 15,000.
Okay, so this right here is where Marcus Richardson was, or is. Michelle, on the other hand, with just $450 doing $33,000. And then you go back to Bel Air's, $300 gets him $30,000. You understand? This is skill set. So top skill set, Michelle and Eric. But watch this. What I found is none of y'all have a less skill set. You're putting in less money for leads. I mean, we had this girl that I'm telling you, 3 degrees she got in 4 years. 3 official college degrees from a high-level college. And I'm not going to say her name, but she thinks that we're staying in a castle in 4 weeks in Banff. So a lot of y'all know who she is. When she saw this, you should have seen her face. She was like, no wonder. Nobody told me that they were spending this kind of money. So she started spending that kind of money. Now she's up there too. If she was in this room, is she right there? Come up here! Come up here! Come up here! So I have decided to open this can of intelligence on everybody. We'll leave it out. Are these things true of which I speak?
All these things of which you speak are true.
Can I get a witness?
It was revolutionary. It was a little annoying that I didn't see it before, but I also didn't realize the Target sign was a Target either. So. I see it now.
Y'all know the French. You know the French company Target. Us rednecks call it Target.
Oh my gosh, I did not know
She just
that.
found out that the logo was a Target, and you just found out the logo was a Target.
I found out a couple years ago. Okay.
I love my team. I love my team. How many of you in the last 15 minutes learned something? Something. You don't have to admit which something it was you learned, but you learned something in the last 15 minutes. Is this crazy or what? Okay, let's review what my talk is about today. How to clear your head and fill your calendar. Are you planning for success? Are you planning for failure? What does your schedule look like? And if you work your plan, what are the expected results? Those are some messed up questions right there. Like if you don't have a plan, you're planning to fail. If your calendar is empty, your bank account probably is too. Is my work done yet? Tell them about where we're going in about 4 weeks.
We're going to a castle! And it is a castle. You said, I think it's a castle.
It is a castle.
It is a castle.
It is a castle. I agree with you. It is a castle. I agree with you. What are your numbers?
It's at 350 and 15,000.
Okay, so she fits right in here at 350
Why am I
and
in red?
15,000. Okay? It's because you stand out. That's why you're red. And because Target sign is red. Okay, so everybody wants to work on their skill set, but they don't want to work on their activity set and their investment set. Shoot. You're like a professor. Do you with me? You know the professors, I'd like to talk to you children about how to get wealthy. And they're sitting here making no money. But they're very, 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 very smart. Well, people like us. What's people like us? We don't mind if people say we're not as smart. We just don't want people to call us broke. We don't mind if they think or say we ain't somebody. Because when we look at our car, when we look at our wife's jewelry, we look at our closet where our shoes are, we look at the money that we're able to give to charities, we look at the building with our name on it that we gave to a university, and they go like, Your opinion of me doesn't matter. You know. You know. You know. This is it. This is where we're headed with this. So, how long have you been selling with us? How many years have you been out there selling?
About 7 years.
7 years. Now, Angela, who hit us with 200 and, no, wait a minute. What did you do, Angela? 500. Where's yours?
500.
Hers is
about
500.
15,000.
Ladies' page. 515,000 versus these people that are spending 450, spending less than her and doing 30,000. Watch this. Here's what we found. How long have you got a mic? How long have you been selling with us?
A year.
1 year. 7 years of getting better and training have improved her. Now, here's the next thing. We found some people that say, I am here, so I can expect to be at this amount in 1 year. And then in 2 years, I can expect to be at this amount. And here's what we're finding out. That some people in 1 year, they do this much work. In other words, they're making $25 a week. Some people are making $400 a week, and some are making $600 a week, and some are making $200 a week. So in other words, the one doing 25, he can expect that he thinks he's going to get to where Angela is. He thinks he's going to get there in a year. It's going to be more like this right here. About 5 years, he's going to be at her skill set level. In other words, how fast you start putting in the dials, you're going to get to this 1 year mark. Right? So how many dials were you making, Angela, for this whole year? Have they been the same every week? Has it increased, decreased?
Sometimes it's 250, sometimes it's 300, sometimes it's 150.
250, 300, 150 to get to that point in 1 year. You're not going to get there doing 25. Now, some people say, how in the world with $500 worth of leads is she making $300? She's got leads to dial. But she calls through them all, flips through them, calls through them again, flips through them, calls through them again, flips through them, calls through them again.
That's right.
You tracking on this? Now, Olga, will you grab a mic? Tell us, we were talking, this was a big revelation. Olga, can you tell us, like, your first year, how good you were doing, how many sales you were making, how many dials, and how much money did you make the whole year?
Well, my first year, the first 9 months, I dialed not a lot because I was so scared. And immediately they answered, I hung up. Okay,
so when the people said hello,
I
you would hang up. That was your sales script.
Yeah, exactly. And, sorry. And then when I was dialing, I was praying that they don't answer. Okay, so I was okay.
You're praying they didn't answer.
Yeah.
But when God didn't answer your prayer and they said hello, you took matters into your own hands and slammed the phone on them. Like,
yes.
God, take that.
Yes. So in my first whole year, I made $6,000. I have a lot of belief, and I didn't give up. I knew I could do it. And then I made the decision to move to Miami to meet Justin Bellick. And I went to the dialing team. And I was terrified, so scared, and I said, Justin, at what time you going home? He said, what? Going home? I don't go home until I make 20 appointments. He said, oh, okay. So I stay with you. I stay with him dialing from 8 in the morning to 9:30 p.m., 1 hour break. And I made for the first time 12 appointments. Woo! Love you.
I don't know if it's messing y'all up. When I heard this, I was like, I've got some friends that I must share this information with. I'm opening up the can. You with me? I'm going to tell them what's going on. So I hope this has helped a little bit. Next year,
Next year, 40,000. I was not that scared, but I still, butterflies. The third year, 103,000.
So you've been with us 3 years.
3 years.
And what was your number on here? Which one's you?
This one, 500.
Still spending 500 to make 20,000 in sales. She hasn't dropped down to 300. She's still spending 500 to do 20,000. Can y'all do the math on it yet? Can you figure that out? At 20,000, that's going to get her up to about, that's going to, see what, 20,000, you can go over to the level chart, and you say, if you're just writing that, that's going to get you up to an 80, okay? So that's going to get you to the 16,000, because 80%, 16,000, $500 minus 2,000 for leads gets her to 14,000. Does that make sense? Are y'all tracking on this? Yes, sir. Versus if she was spending the 500 and getting 30,000, well, she's going to get promoted to a 95, and her numbers are going to get better. So everybody wants to know, why is Michelle Alleman better, and why is Eric Belair better, and what does she do to improve over Angela? And I am telling you, that we're willing to share with you. I just don't need for you to be focused on that before you're focused on the basics. The basics are getting you, people say, where am I going to get leads? Well, first of all, what we have is a program that the government put in place. If you do not have an attorney, the courts will appoint one to you. Y'all know that, right? Yep. Well, for our poor people, we have a program that we will give them some leads where they can get started until they have enough money to pay for their own. Now, let me tell you where that idea came from. Years ago when I was in college, when I found what I wanted to do for the rest of my life, I found a program where I could mail a gentleman money in Florida, and he would mail me back 5 times the amount of money with which I sent him. For example purposes, I would send him 100, and after 5 weeks, he would send me 500 back. I could send him 1,000, he would send me 5,000 back. And people say to me, there's 2 questions come to people's mind. What if I don't have any money? Those are the people that don't have money for leads. They're thinking, what if I don't have any money? What did you do then? You could get a letter from your preacher, your pastor, your pope, your magistrate, your head man up there with a robe. You get a letter, you get one from your mama. Actually, he said it had to be pastor. So I don't know how stringent he was, because I never sent him one. But I did tell some of my broke friends, I ain't got no money to get started. And I was like, well, get you a letter from your preacher. You mail it to Mr. Mayor, and he'd mail you back your first $50 to get you started. So I thought to myself, Mr. Mayor did it, we gonna do it. And you don't even have to have a letter from your preacher. We will trust you. You say I'm broke. I can't even say the word good, but I don't want to speak it on myself. But you say you broke, but you have to say I'm broke. Okay, so you say that word. We'll get you started. Does that make sense? Now, that's what the poor people want to say about Mr. Mayor. What happened if you didn't have no money, Mr. Albright? Now, you know what the rich people say? How come you didn't keep doing it? Right? Well, the law got involved. Y'all know what to do in the Popo show, right? Run. Hey, I ain't going to ask the girls, but how many guys, when the Popo showed up, when you saw the police car, you just ran? I just run. He said, why would you run? I knew there was something I was doing wrong. I just didn't know what. Right? So now that people say, well, how come you didn't keep doing that? Well, the law showed up. Now you know why I'm doing this. Does that make sense? People say, you making this up? No. I got cousins, aunts, uncles, friends, everybody to testify. Witnesses, right? Some of them in business with us, right? Now. Okay, y'all understand this? But the first concept, and people would say things like, How's he do it? I bet, no, how's he do it? Mail him some money. Does that make sense? My head's clearer. Maybe because there's not as much up there. But my head's clearer than most people. I elevate right to the, how's the part where I get money? Does that make sense? Where's the part where I get paid? I had a friend, he would just tell you, you'd be talking to him, he'd say, where's the part where I get some? And I looked at him, I said, you know, that's pretty clear thinking right there. And people say, well, that's selfish thinking. Well, it's clear selfish thinking. So, in the kind of program that we have set up, if you do better, we do better. So, in fact, by thinking selfishly about yourself, you're actually helping others, us, right up here. Does that make sense? So don't feel bad. You think selfish all the time and it don't bother you. Don't change now. Does this make sense? Am I hitting any truths up in here? Yes, sir. All right. Michelle, how long you been selling with us?
Just about 9 years in August.
9 years. How many, when you started out dialing, do you have any idea how many dials were you having to make? That's her right there. 450, but she knocks out 33,000, 9 years of getting better. How many hours of listening to activity calls? Do you listen to all of them?
I did 250 to 400 dials a week for years. In this business. Years.
Now how many dials do you have to do to knock out 30,000? Hold on. Get your stomach right. It's not going to be pleasant.
75 to 100.
That's right. That's right. There's plenty of country songs that'll tell you this. If you're running through hell, keep on running. Does that make sense? Keep on going. The devil might not even know you up in there. This is the way program works. John Maxwell, I was with him the other day. He said, here's the way it works, Andy. The bad stuff's downhill and the good stuff's uphill. See? Does that make sense? People say, no. Good stuff's easy. Boom. It's downhill. It's a downhill slope. It seems easy. Man go and say, I'm going to Myrtle Beach. That's east of here. Traffic's lined up for miles, so he goes west because it's easier. Downhill, easy. Uphill, that's where the beach is. Is this making sense? It's always like this. You can look it up in success books. Here's the way it looks. Here's the good stuff right here. Here's you. And here is the trash pile. And everybody's trying to go over it, under it, around it. And the more you get out there, that trash just keeps spreading out and getting higher and deeper. You just got to get your butt right through it. That's right. That's right. That's the way it every time is. Everybody sees it. It's like, I want to find a way not to go through the trash pile. The problem is when you talk to any successful country singer, when you talk to any successful basketball player, when you talk to any successful coach, they have to do this to get to that.
That's right.
Does that make sense? So, who y'all are staying the next couple of days? Next couple of days? Next couple of days? Raise your hand high, Michelle. So you guys, you were traveling with me, and Angela was traveling with me, and Jane is not part of this Instant Thunder. But these guys are going to be here. Who over here is going to be hanging around? Till tomorrow, 4 of them are hanging around the whole time. So some of them next hour or two, and when we go over to the hangar, get a hold of them and chat with them. Now, let's do a reminder, okay? You go into the house. You're up there in the house. Okay, so you go in the house, like you are up in here. You cannot leave this house until you get a check or you pick up the phone. This is a law, a regulatory requirement, an institution, a definition. This is not optional. And people hit me with if. And I go, look, bro, there's no if. You say, what am I going to say? You got to call somebody. Say hello. You say, but I'm calling them. Say goodbye. Say something. Eric said he called Paul Menachino. Paul, come here. What did he say to you when he called? Here's the joker. 18 years old, been in the business for 3 weeks.
He said, hey, Paul, I'm sitting down with a nice young lady here, and I got some questions.
Okay. Then what happened? Did you start asking questions?
Then I started asking him questions.
I got some questions, and then the guy he called, who's experienced, see, he's up here, started asking the questions. He got a check. Then he was allowed to leave the house. That makes sense? We met a guy, his name is Tim. And Tim raised his hand, he said, I got to talk. I said, all right, it better be good. He said, well, it's not good. And, I'm stuck then. I was like, all right, go ahead, Tim. He said, it's taken me forever. I've been doing this for 2 years. And I'm terrible, but I'm way better. I said, what holds you up? He said, I was in the house, and I would talk to these people, and I would think, I should call somebody. Then I would think, well, none of these people are better than me because this person right here is not going to write a check. He said, so I'd leave the house and not call anybody. I said, bro, you made that decision on your own? Like, what did your upline say? He said, they just hug me and say, hey, and we love you. I said, that's not a good sign. Who was there with me? Was that just, my heart went out to this gentleman. And Tim's watching right now, and I know he's laughing because he helped us. But what he had to go through, what he did is he went through hell, and he hung out over there and had some dog food and some old mashed up potatoes. Cut his finger on a tin can over here. Ran into a dead cat. Picked it up by the tail and didn't learn nothing. You pick a live cat up by the tail, you'll learn something. Dead cat, you ain't going to learn nothing. It'll probably come off in your hand. Does that make sense? So he's just coming out the light of day. How long you want to hang out? Doing 15 sales, 15 dials, 12 dials. How long you want to hang out in this trash heap up in here? Does that make sense? The quicker way to get out is to pour on the gas. Y'all tracking on this technology, logic, simple, clear head? This is just one of the things that we learned. Now, what we're going to do, what you're going to do, Angela and Olga, is go back and reteach. Take your notes and reteach everything we learned the last 48 hours, and let's enlighten these folks. This is a big one right here. This is a big one right here. Now, if you are a manager and you have people and they are leaving the house without a check and without getting on the phone with you, without calling and saying, I need to talk to my senior field underwriter. If they're doing that, you're not managing, you're not leading correctly. You got to educate them. You can't be mean to them and make them, but you got to sell them on the right ways. Sell them on how to get through the mess quicker. This is going to change our business. It's going to transform these 3 or 4 things I've laid out here will transform our business. What this will do is compress the amount of time for you to make $75,000 to $100,000 and pay all your bills, and it gives you way, way, way more time to build your hierarchy, to build your dynasty. It gives you time to and money to build your business. Where's Junior? Real quick, Junior, come up here. Here's another one we learned. Junior is a young guy too who's learning how to be wealthy, and this principle right here. Do you remember when you learned that? Well, who taught you that? Did Michael Owens teach you that? Mike Leventovich?
Yeah, Michael Owens, Mike Leventovich. I've heard it before.
You've heard it before.
Yes, sir.
What'd you make first year? How old are you, first of all?
22 years old.
How long you been with us?
Been with the Alliance a little bit over 4 years.
So he started when he was 18. So you should get with him before he leaves and say, look, for those 4 years, what'd you do wrong? What would you do different? What are you mad about? What are you angry about? If I was your son, if you cared about me, if you cared about me, what would you say to me? Like, don't pretend like you don't know me. Just pretend like you care about me. Like, if you really cared. If you really cared, what would you say? So you've been here 4 years. Do you remember your income levels, what you made?
Yes, sir. First 6 months, I made about $3,000. First full year, I made $15,000. So first 18 months, I made $18,000.
Okay. Then what?
And then I made $62,000 my second full year, $83,000, and then last year was $119,000.
One of the things I'm going to tell you that he'd have wished he'd done earlier, tell him about your staff. See, what you want to do is take those leads. You don't even want to have to buy them. You want somebody else to order them for you. You want somebody else to print them out. You don't want to have to do that because you want to wake up in the morning, bam, 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 start dialing. Does that make sense? Yes, sir. This is big. The only way you can do that is have enough money that somebody does that for you, unless your mother is really, really good. If you got a sweet mommy that'll do all the work for you, get you some coffee, cook you some breakfast, have your leads printed out, more power to you. Make sense? Okay, so tell them about your staffing situation at 22 years old. What do you have set up?
Yes, sir. I've got help from 3 incredible people. First person I've got, Courtney. She works out of the office. She works full-time, 40 hours a week, and she takes care of all the administrative stuff, contracting, paperwork, printing leads out.
Print out your leads?
Yeah, printing
Does she
leads.
mail in your applications?
Mails everything.
Image your applications?
Goes shopping.
She get your coffee?
Yeah.
Does she take
Makes
trash
coffee.
out?
She does. The ladies at the office do that.
Everything?
Mm-hmm.
You don't do that stuff?
No.
They physically do that, boom, right there in your office.
Yes, sir.
Bam. How many people have you had to hire for that position, hire and fire and train?
At least 7 or 8.
Yeah. They said, why does he keep failing? Because he keeps making mistakes. Does he feel like you've been getting better at that?
Yeah, she's been with me. It'll be 2 years in November.
She's been with you 2 years?
Yeah.
So, this year, 83,000. This year, yes. This year, no. This year, no. This year, most of this year, no.
Right.
No, it'd been all this year, no. Does it make sense? They say, where do you get the money to do this? Find it. Borrow it. Ask Eric, where'd you get your money to start when you first started with us?
I had to sell my wedding band and my wife's wedding band off our fingers.
That's what he had to do. Hey, look at this. Tell him again where you got your money.
I had to sell my wedding band after 21 years and my wife's wedding band off of our fingers.
Where did you get money to get started?
Credit card. I didn't have no money. You were my money.
I was on that free program.
I was on that free program.
You were on my free program and the government free program, wasn't you?
Yeah.
Tell them how bad it was.
I was on every program available. TANF, WIC, state assistance, toys for kids for Christmas, the whole deal.
And the Albright free program. Is that crazy? This is the way it works. Is this enlightening? Oh yeah, what else? The other staff, who else you got there?
I've got another lady named Randy. She schedules all my interviews for me. And then I've got a person that helps me out with all my personal things. Her name is Laris, and she is awesome. She cooks. She goes shopping. Like I haven't been to
I'm
Walmart.
taking it you don't live with mom and dad.
No, sir. Yeah.
Apartment, condo, house?
Apartment.
Got an apartment?
Mm-hmm.
Just you? You got roommates?
Nope.
Just you?
Yep.
Somebody comes in and cleans for you?
Cleans, does laundry.
Take it to the dry cleaner?
Dry cleans. Yeah.
That makes sense. Dude, I'm telling y'all, I'm opening it up. I'm just letting the secrets go out there now. What else? You got something to add?
Well, the big thing is I'm not the time that I'm buying, I'm not wasting it. I'm using it to sell, recruit, and build more. I'm not wasting the time. And because I have the staff, I feel like I should sell, recruit, and build more.
I want to tell y'all something. I don't know if y'all can hear it out there. I know y'all can hear the drilling and the hammers and sledgehammers and busting that's going on. Well, let me be clear. I did not say anything about this, okay? So the last 3 weeks we've had this noise because we're building 3,000 square feet of bathrooms. It's not all bathrooms. The bathrooms is the excuse that we're building this building. Because when we had 1,200 people here at our 1,000 people here at our convention in July, okay, we need bathrooms. Well, our logic, my staff and our logic was, while we're building y'all's bathrooms, we're going to put us in a dry sauna, a massage room, a salon to get our hair cut, and a tanning booth.
That's right.
And a place where we can take showers after we work out in our gymnasium and our exercise court. Does that make sense? Yeah. Now, here's what I like. It stopped the last convention, and one of my staff people went over there and said, "Why did y'all stop?" And they said, "Somebody said we was making a noise." And my staff said, "Ain't nobody got authorization to tell you to stop working except Albright." And Albright didn't tell nobody to stop working.
That's right.
So get your little drill plug back in and get back over there. And I was not involved in this. They knew me. My staff like us. They like us. Does that make sense? They knew. I didn't have to ask. I didn't say, "By the way, don't stop anything." They knew not to stop anything. Wow. Is that crazy talk? That's what I like, is when they anticipate. So that's what you're working on next, is your secretary to look at you and go like, "I wonder if he would like tea or coffee." Does that make sense? And she can do it too. I can guarantee you, Amber, she's good at that. She knows. She knows the time of day. She's like, "You need some of that watermelon drink." That's what I'm thinking. She don't say it. It just shows up. Smart. Smart. Because I'm the monkey. What do you mean by I'm the monkey? You know when that man's doing that box, ding, 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 a little monkey jumping around, people put money in it. The man doing this thing right here, he's very important. I'm the monkey. You the monkey. They make money, the company grows when we dancing around. Right? Does that make sense? We don't have to go get our own bananas and our own peanuts. We eat and then we start dancing again. Does that make sense? Can't nobody make money while we were out shopping? Does that make sense? I'm telling you, Bo, this is the simple, clear stuff. It's the truth, bro. David Letterman. Did you hear about this? Okay, so he's a late night TV guy, right? Okay, do y'all ever see the credits? You ever watch that? Who bought his clothes for him? He didn't buy his clothes. He don't pick out what he wears. Why? He was the monkey. He's the one doing the late night show. You know his big thing when he retired? He didn't know how to use his phone. He didn't know how to call anybody. He had to get one of his friends to show him how to work his phone because he didn't even do that. He would just say, call somebody, and be ringing by the time he got the phone. They kept him doing what he was supposed to be doing. That's why he's one of the highest paid people in the world, because they kept him doing what he was doing. Wow. Does that make sense? That's why these basketball players don't have to do anything. They want to keep them dancing. Does that make sense? We do what we do, they do what they do. When we ain't doing what we do, we ain't getting paid. This is huge. This is huge. Okay. Big stuff. Big stuff. Okay. So they're going to finish on time because we don't take breaks. They got to go. No interruption. People go, "That's rude. That's right." But what are you talking? Well, I don't know what to tell you, Bo. I don't know how to explain to you. We're very nice. We're not trying to be mean to anybody, not trying to upset, not trying to discriminate, not trying to put anybody down, not trying to be rude, not trying to be arrogant. We're just trying to get the job done. And I'll bet you at least 50% of you hadn't even noticed the noise. And then the 50% of you that noticed the noise, out of those 50%, 25% were wondering about it, but the 25% highest paid went, I ain't got time to think about that. I got to think about what he's talking about. That's right. And more importantly, I got to think about what he's talking about, how I'm going to tell it to people that I've hired. Because I know they watch him, but they ain't getting it. So I got to think of a way to get them to get it. And I'm going to get them to watch it again, maybe watch it with them, and get a calculator and take them through it and just say, you do an example. Say, try it if you're doing $800. Try it if you had a 70%. And just change the numbers on them and see if they can do the math. And I'm telling you, you get them to punch it in on a calculator, it'll change the way they calculate. Does that make sense? Y'all grab a seat, and I got to go over a couple more little things. Thank y'all. Great job. Life-changing. Amazing, astounding. Thank you, Michelle. I'm glad y'all are here. Oh, gosh. Okay. I'm going to rattle off some stuff pretty quick to you. I got about 10 pages here, and I got about 10 minutes. All right. How to clear your head and fill your calendar. The first thing I want you to understand is about a word called worry. People are worried about so many things. They're worried about what their mother thinks, what their neighbor thinks. They're worried. They're worried about their wife's going to say, what their husband's going to say. They're worried if their children are going to watch them and be like them. They're worried if their children are getting good grades. Worry, okay? Worry is, worry comes from an Anglo-Saxon Saxo word that means to choke. Like if you took your fingers, probably you can't do it to yourself. No, you can do it to yourself. You just push real hard right there, it starts to get very uncomfortable. Or if I push my fingers right there in your throat and just press real hard right there, it's going to get real uncomfortable real fast. It chokes out the life in a person. Anxiety pent up in you, worry, and you're worried about something that may or may not happen. Or worse, you're worried about something that you cannot control. So, if something's happening, like there's noises going on over there, it's raining and you wanted to go outside today, anything that you absolutely, it's not your control. Your wife, you want your wife to go to a meeting, but she don't want to go. And you're worried if it's going to affect your business. You can't control her. Your husband, you want him to be the administrative person, but he is not good at typing or mailing or details. And you're worried about it. You can't educate him. You've known him for what, 7 years now? 27? He's not changing. What are you worried about? Well, it would help. It would help if it was sunny too. You with me? But we can't change either one. Stuff you can't change, we got to stop worrying about. Why? We got to do what we can do. This is how to get stuff out of your head and get stuff into your calendar. All right. 4 simple things that'll get you not worrying. One is keep busy. Do something. So put something in your calendar. Help somebody else win, which is a way to keep busy. I'm not wild about this one, but it is what it is. Do things in moderation. I know. Don't eat so much at one time. Don't drink so much at one time. I don't even want to talk about it anymore. So number one, keep busy. Number 2, moderation. Quit being a psycho for negative stuff. If you want to be a psycho for something, be a psycho for keeping busy doing something positive. Number 3, have fun. Laugh. Quit taking stuff so dadgum, like deep down, it's funny, man. Relax. You can't laugh at yourself, everybody else will. They will. But if you laugh at yourself, everybody will laugh with you. You want them laughing at you because you're so serious, or laughing with you. Which way you want to do it? This will stop your worry. When Spencer was in the 3rd grade, the school teacher called us in and said, your son is a situation we need to come in. We sat down, and I'm in there thinking, right? What are we doing up in here? And she said, she looks at us, she said, your son laughs and jokes at school. I was like, that's awesome. I didn't say that, but I was thinking, that's awesome. My kid's having fun at school. And she said, what's so bad is people are copying him and following him. I was like, my boy is a leader. So I'm fired up, right? And she says, the bottom line, he won't take it serious. I said, it? I've been quiet so far, which was a long time for me. I said, I've been quiet so far, but what do you mean it serious? She said, 3rd grade. I said, it's 3rd grade, ma'am. What are we doing, coloring? We're going to take it serious? He's making straight A's and he's laughing. She said, I think I see what the problem is. Yeah, what the problem is my boy not going to grow up to be you. Does that make sense? Like, I like her. She's a good teacher and everything, but come on, man. How serious can it be? 3rd grade. Okay. Oh, last one. Let me just give you a tip. And this is deep, but I'm going to say it to you, and then you can do with it what you would. You need to quit worrying about dying. You're going to die. You just need to quit worrying about it. As a matter of fact, you need to know that you are going to and quit worrying about it. And it might be difficult for you to do, but if you need some help, that you're worried about what's going to happen, talk to me, talk to somebody. Say, hey, look, I'm worried about dying. Because if you have a legitimate worry, talk to Joe Dukes. Joe Dukes will walk you through it. We've got some other people who can talk to it. Terry Edwards, he'd take you through it. There's several people who can take you through this thing. It's not that, so you got to get this off your mind. Does that make sense? You got to help somebody, not take it too serious, and you got to moderation. Woohoo! And like, you can't watch TV for like all the time. You can't I'm going to get caught up on all episodes of Law and Order. Dude, you can't do that. Or all episodes of the vampire movies and stuff like that. You can't. No. Okay, you got those 4? Yes, sir. It's real simple. It's not a comprehensive list. I didn't mean for it to be. I just took the easiest highlight stuff that take worry off of you. Okay. One of them, helping somebody. I want to take you clear how to help somebody, okay? You need to take somebody from where they are to somewhere else quickly. So if they're in your office worried, or if they're at their desk worried, you need to take them outside to a different place. That'll help them. And see how that takes your mind off of you. Mentally, if you can take them to a different place. Like, one person told me she was worried about her past was coming at her like a tidal wave, and it was going to wash her out and everything else. So I put her on top of the tidal wave, and I said, I see it more as something that you're riding, because this man beat you up, or this man pointed a gun at her head. She took he took the gun out of his hand and whooped him with the gun, and I was like, you are right. You are a tidal wave, woman. You're on top of it. Like, your past is your power. Everybody's tried to beat you down. Look at you standing straight up. That's like all the things, the evil things that happen to you are not going to wipe you out. You're going to ride them, and you're going to take out everything. So she went from down here to up on top. That makes sense? I got a guy dealing with something right now with his little girls, and he's going to be, it's just a bad situation. His wife, his whole thing. And I said, here's what you got to imagine, is when you take your little girls to Disney, and you look back and right now, seeing how crazy it was. And he said, whoa, wait. He said, they're going to be trying to figure out how I pulled this off. Right. So he was in a different place, looking back. And then we said, all right, now that we're there, let's start talking about the first thing you got to do to get you here. What's the first thing? So it went clear. Does that make sense? It went from he's down in the weeds. Y'all know what a chicken, you know what a biddy and high weeds is. I say that a lot of times in meeting, people don't know what it means. I go, okay, you know what a biddy is. You know the little chicken is a biddy. They're about 2-3 inches. And high weeds are usually about waist high. So can you imagine a biddy in high weeds? Does that make sense? When my daddy had Parkinson's disease, and he was about on his last leg, because this leg was about that big around. He's a big man, a lot bigger than me, and he had just shrunk down to a whole lot little because he had Parkinson's disease, but he's still a crazy worker, you know. And I like that about him. I always say, if I could work as hard as my dad, I'll never be broke, I'll never be hungry, I always have a place to live. He's a hard worker. And I was out selling coupon books as in between when I was an engineer and doing this. And I'd been out about a half a day, and I come back, and he was at the house. He'd been riding around a lawnmower working on a fence. Now, you got to understand, he was 70-some years old with Parkinson's disease, leg, couldn't walk. And I asked my wife, I said, where's Daddy? She said, I ain't seen him since before lunch. I said, Daddy didn't come up for lunch? She said, no. I said, something's wrong. Because my daddy, he didn't like to be called late for lunch. I don't like to be called broke. My daddy didn't like to be called late. You with me? I said, something's wrong. So I went down, I found a lawnmower, and it was in weeds, about waist high. and I stood up on a lawnmower, and I seen him. It wasn't no far as from me to you, Junior. And so I got down. I went over to him. He was crawling around. His face was bleeding, crawling around. He down here like this right here. I said, what are you doing, Dad? Oh, I'm looking for the lawnmower. I said, you like a biddy in high weeds. Pick me up. I scooped that jugger up. He weighed about 220. I don't know how much he weighed when he died. I scooped him up, put him on a lawnmower, and cranked that thing up, rode him up to the house, washed him off, put him inside, gave him some lunch. I said, you can't get down there no more. He said, you ain't going to tell me no more. You with me? Down there, you can't see where you're going. Oh, listen, I was crying, laughing. Listen, people want me to take it so serious, you know. I could tell you stories going on and on. I've about my day. You can't. I mean, he was laughing too. Blood coming down. Don't tell me no more. You just can't take it that serious, man. You just calm down, right? It's gonna be all right. Okay, so take them to a different place. Lift them up in their imagination, in their head. Move them to a different spot. All right. Okay, let me tell you something else you need to think about. This will help clear your head up. You need, Trey, Bailey, let me tell you this. I draw my group out all the time. All the time. So the way you do this, and I know some people in here are doing this and they're growing the fastest. The way you draw your group out is you think of all the people you've hired and you start writing down their names. And then any people that they're talking to or hired, they don't have to have hired them, just talking to them and list them out. And you list them out. And you list them out. You just list them all out. List them all out, who you got. And just draw it all out. Then what you do is you redraw it. And what you do is you take the stars, the ones that are doing the best, and you redraw it. So Jasmine, you want to redraw your group. So you take this one, see how he's down in depth, and this one's up the top. So this one's stronger than that one. You need to talk to your manager, leader, key leader, talk to me, talk to Justin Tripp. He's really good at this. Talk to Chris Hill, Robbie Kraft, and find out who's the best. Because you know it's this one or this one. You don't know which one. It's this one right here. So you draw this one out. So this one looks like this because you got that one and this one. This one's doing a little bit and that one's a star. And then you draw all the stuff around them. So you keep the star here, little star there, and you draw it out like that. And then you take this one and you redraw it. Okay? Does that make sense? And then you take your weakest one and you put the weakest one way over there. Does that make sense? Now look what I've started to draw out. See how that's shaped? Your ideal shape that you're trying to get, if this is you, after you draw everything out, is you're looking to get this shape. Your first leg, you want it real deep, and you want to be real wide in people, meaning person, 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 person. And then you want this leg to be almost as deep as this one, and you want it to be solid like that. This leg, people, people, and you want it jammed up with people. Does that make sense? So I'm non-stop thinking how to create this structure. Okay? This will take up time. So this is how to keep busy. How to clear your mind and keep it focused. All right? So you draw it out. If you think about this, if the top 5 people you hang around, are they drawing out their group? Are they clear-headed? Are they simpled? Or are they drama people? And that includes family. And it includes who hired you. Could you go up higher to somebody that has a clearer head? Could you talk to that person more? So, well, they don't have access to them. Could you listen to them on audio more? Is there a way you can get it around a person? Association, in other words. Can you get around a person with a clearer head? Okay. Ideal structure. Keep putting in width until it looks like this. So if your group looks like this, if this is you, and your group looks like this, you got one person who's got people like that, guess what you need? Width. Right? If this is you, and your group looks like this, you got a person, 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 you ain't got no depth. What if your business looks like this? You got one leg like this, so your group looks like this. You're missing people, 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 people. You're missing people to create that structure. Does that make sense? It's just real simple. This is how to go EVP. People try to look at that and get there. You need to look at your group, and then after you draw it out a couple of times, then take it over there and see how it compares. What will happen is, for you to go EVP, you go real wide and real deep, and this right here will take you to EVP. But you've got to have this. You've got to have this to get this. In other words, your business can't look just like that. It's got to look like this. It's got to do it. I've been doing this 27 years. I know all kinds of people that have done it before. I've never seen it done any other way. This is the way to put it together. It's a simple one easy way to do it. All right, this is big. This, I don't know if y'all know this. I have talked about it in the past. There's two things that I want you to do to keep clear. Two things. Minimize negative and eliminate confusion. Now, a lot of people think, why don't you eliminate negative? You can't. Because somebody's going to die, somebody's going to get cancer, and that's negative. It hurts. Somebody's going to do you wrong. The way to minimize it is you zip it. And I've got a couple of people that I'm getting ready to hit between the eyes, and I want to talk to them individually, but I don't want to hurt their feelings. So I know they're going to come up to me afterwards, and they're going to say, I know you're talking to me, and I want to tell you that you don't have to be talking to me anymore. I got it. And I want to tell you, I don't even want you to do that. I just want you to get it. The reason is when you come up and tell me you got it, that's like us having to review the negative. Okay? So here's the deal. Somebody quit 3 years ago, and you want to talk about it. And you want to know what he's doing now, and why he quit, why did he kill himself, why did he kill his family, why did he turn on me, why did he turn on you, and let's just review it. And let's talk about how funny he is, and how stupid he was, and how fat his wife was, and how ugly he was. And let's just review all these things, and let's just talk about it. He was really good at being funny, but he was really bad at making money. I mean, he also had a lot of charge. He was just, you with me? I don't even like how much I'm talking about this, but I got to tell you, stop talking about negative. You can't stop it. When you stub your toe, I can't stop that. That is something negative is going to happen. There's negative going to happen. Now, you want to make my blood pressure boil? Talk about something like this in front of something else that don't know it, somebody else that don't know about it. Does that make sense? I get upset. I'm going to try to keep a poker face and be nice. But inside I'm thinking, please God, shut up, please God. You with me? I had one lady come up to me. She said, I had a person in our hotspot spread negative. And I went up to her and I told her, you will get fired. And I was like, I've been on the phone. I was like, she was like, is that bad? I said, no, I'm glad you got a strong backbone. Because I am. Does that make sense? You said, well, wish she did good. I'm glad she got a strong backbone. Does that make sense? You say, you're not saying whether it's good or bad, are you? I'm saying she had a strong backbone. I'm glad that she recognized negative. Now, let's talk about some options, what she could do in the future. You could say to somebody, hey, what you're talking about now, how's that helping? In other words, instead of threatening them, you could ask them a question and say, how's that helping? How's that helping, buddy? And if they say, well, we got to get it out there, and you go, really? What's Andy going to think about it if I tell him what you're getting out there? You could say that. You could say, what's Justin Balick going to say if we pull him over here and we tell him what you felt like it had to get it out there in the open? What if they say, well, it's the truth? What if you look at them and say, I know some true things about you. You want me to say them? No, that's not a good thing to do. I know it is a question, but it's not a good question to ask them. But that's what people say. It's just the truth. And I can say, you want me to tell you just the truth about you? And just look them, start at the toe and go up and go. You want me to give them a couple questions? You want me to tell them a couple things about you? That's just the truth? We get the truth out there. No, that's not a good idea. That's not a good idea. But when they say it's just the truth, you say something like, listen, just because it's the truth, let's think about a truth that's better to talk about. It's not that, in other words, my girl had a good backbone. What she could do next time is something better. And the better is, she could say to the person, is that helping? And pull them to the side, say, is that helping? Okay, so we're going to minimize the negative. Negative things are going to happen. It's going to rain sometimes. But we're not going to talk about the rain. We're going to talk about how we got good leads, and we're going to talk about how we learned how if you put more money in. In other words, we're going to talk about something good because that's what's going to make us more money. It's not that what you're saying is not the truth, and it's not that you're a bad person. It's just that we could do something else with our time. Does that make sense? And then confusion. We're not going to confuse people by telling them 6 different ways to do something. We're going to keep it very simple. So when they try to ask complicated questions, we're going to pause for a second and we're going to say, how did Andy teach it on the TWC? We're going to say, how did Chris Long keep it simple? How did Jason Carey say to do this? Jason Carey said to keep all your clients in a month, put them in a file folder, and then put them in another folder, so next month, so now you can look back 6 months from now and pull out every person you ever sold to. People say, I'm going to write an Excel spreadsheet and a program. Now, every person in your group is going to have to do that. And people don't know how to do computers and Excel and BASIC and Fortran and CCal and PortCal. I don't even know what they're talking about, these computer languages. And then apps and all this stuff. I'm like, we're going to keep it simple. We're going to keep it simple. That's how we're going to eliminate confusion. We're going to stay low. That makes sense? Mm-hmm. So when people ask us a question, we're going to keep it low, easy. And they're going to try to drag us into, why do you think some people are willing? This is one of those brilliant questions. By the way, when I say brilliant, I'm saying psychologically, sociologically, ethically, morally, motivationally. It's really complicated. Okay? And what we got to say is, you know what? What we need to focus on is getting more people selling more insurance. Take them away from that complicated thought and love on them and say, look, I know that's a great question. Let's move over here to something that we can answer. When you're taking tests, if you don't know a question, don't get hung up on it. Move to a question you know the answer and check it off and get it. I don't get into how to get through the licensing test, but that's what you do is you get the easy ones first and you get momentum. Does that make sense? Now, you say, what if we run out of time doing the easy, just picking up cherries, picking up strawberries, picking up checks, making money, right? And then we don't have enough time to get to the complicated. So we fill up our whole time with good stuff that's simple and easy, and we never get to the complicated. We have just eliminated some confusion by never getting to it. By focusing on the simple. And somebody say, life won't be the same without a complicated. There'll be enough people out there to complicate it. It's just like, don't y'all worry about it not being enough poor people to wait on us and build buildings and do stuff for us and build our cars and get our gas stations and be attendants. There's always going to be enough people. But it don't have to be us. We don't have to be the complicated ones. We don't have to be. There's going to be enough negative out there for the world. The news is still going to be on. Negative stuff is still going to happen. We don't have to worry about it. Does that make sense? This is huge in keeping you clear and moving you on. Okay. All right. That's the last thing. I'm going to end on this. It's not my last page, but I'm going to end on this because we're spending extra money on airtime. Okay, we're over our time limit. I'll tell y'all since you're Instant Thunder. Okay. Who decides whether you're happy or not happy? Okay, so here's the story. Old guy. This is a very famous interview on television. Guy is in over 100 years old, and he is so just skipping happy. And the interviewer's talking to him, and he's asking him about his life, and he's been through wars. He's been through some miserable times, some depressions, and he's just cheerful. And the guy asks him, he says, "What's your secret?" Okay? And here's what he said. This guy's a psychiatrist, psychologist, some brilliant guy asking him 100 questions. He says, "In the mornings, I wake up. I have two choices, either to be happy or unhappy. And which one do you think I do?" Pause. "I choose to be happy, and that's all it is to it." Don't take it so serious, man. You've got some choices. You can be happy. You can be sad. Let's don't complicate this thing. I got a whole bunch of stuff I want to cover, y'all. I'll get to it. Clear your head up a little bit. Little clutter gone. Little clutter gone. Recopy this. Blow this thing up. Instant Thunder people. We're going to kill this thing. We love y'all. Thank you for tuning in, TWC. You're awesome. Bye-bye. We're going out to the hangar. We're going out to the hangar. That's right, bye.
All right, real fast, we have some announcements before we go to the hangar. If you were here for the TWC today, we appreciate you being here. And at this moment, we're going to ask you to make your way back upstairs. We're going to begin the Instant Thunder crowd. I'm sorry.